If someone was in accounting, and I'm guessing you get this question a lot because I get it all the time on LinkedIn. I'm an accountant or I'm a financial analyst in XYZ department, and I'm thinking about going into FP&A. What are some of the things that I should be learning to help me make that transition? How would you answer that to someone?
Yeah, I actually get that question a lot too, and especially in public training programs that I do. I get a lot of controllers, a lot of CPAs, a lot of accountants who come in and they say, "I want to do more FP&A work. How could I do that?" And to your question, John, is one, how can you do it? But two, what's different about the thinking? And as I share with people who I coach and who are my clients and who I do training with, I often teach from a thinking standpoint, not necessarily just from a doing standpoint. It's how do you
Okay.
think about what it is that you're doing? How do you think about your own thinking? And
Mm,
thinking back to when I was getting my CPA and I was focused on accounting, the reality with accounting is there are rules. You're either right or you're wrong. This has been around for thousands of years. I mean, even though we think, oh, yeah, we're in modern society now, double sided accounting has been around for a very, very, very long time. It's not
mhm.
dramatically changed. But the difference between accounting and finance is finance, you're often wrong. But just because you're wrong doesn't mean that you are partially right as well. And the reason why I frame it that way is if you're thinking, let's just talk about budgeting and forecasting and projections, that's all forward looking, that's all future looking.
Mhm.
And I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't tell you what's going to happen a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. Yeah, I was listening to the radio earlier today as I was driving my kids to school, and we're talking about inflation and the consumer sentiment around what do people think is happening with inflation versus what really is happening with inflation. And the expectation is that inflation is going to continue to improve. But it's anybody's guess what that's really going to look like. And that's why we put smart people at the Fed and at the SEC and other governmental organizations. But to think about moving from accounting over to finance, it's saying, okay, what are my best assumptions? What are my best guesses? What do I think is going to happen? Even if I'm wrong, can I put together assumptions and data and vouching of what I'm coming up with to convince somebody like you, John, that I have put together something that's well buttoned up? And John, you might say, Carl, I don't necessarily agree with you here, but I can understand where you came from.
Right.
And I like your thought process. So when we put something together for a company, or whether it's for a company or for our own business, we are going to be wrong. But if I get somebody
Yeah.
like you, John, saying, Carl, I like your thought process. I totally understand where you came up with this. I don't entirely agree, but you know what? Let's go with this. So it's
Right.
that intangible of uncertainty that also has a balance of certainty and confidence that you can layer in. It's about decision making with confidence rather than decision making with 100% accuracy and precision in everything that you do. That's
Yes.
the difference between FP&A and accounting.